Everyone back home warned me don't go alone to Turkey, it's not safe, for a woman you'll be stared at constantly, things could happen. I almost cancelled the trip, fear whispered in my ear. But deep inside something stronger pulled me forward, the stories of ancient lands bridging east and west, the whispers of fairy tale landscapes, the promise of a warmth I'd only read about in books. So I booked the ticket, packed light, and stepped into the unknown with my heart racing. The plane touched down in Istanbul, and as I walked out, the first thing that hit me was the call to prayer echoing across the city, soft yet powerful, wrapping around me like a gentle embrace. The Bosphorus shimmered under the morning light, minarets piercing the sky, and suddenly I felt alive in a way I hadn't in years. The chaos of the streets, the honking taxis, the scent of fresh baked bread, it all felt overwhelming, but in the most beautiful way. My first full day, I headed to the historic Sultanahmet. I stood in front of the Blue Mosque, its domes graceful and inviting. I slipped off my shoes, covered my head with a scarf, and stepped inside. The light filtering through stained glass painted the intricate blue tiles in soft hues, the vast carpet under my feet, the quiet whispers of prayer. It was breathtaking. I felt small yet so connected to something ancient and sacred. Tears welled up without warning. This place, built centuries ago, still holding space for peace and beauty. Just across the square, Hagia Sophia, this masterpiece that has been church, mosque, museum, and mosque again. I walked through its massive doors and looked up at the dome floating above me, golden mosaics gleaming with faces of saints and angels from Byzantine times, the blend of histories led like whispers from the past. I stood there alone in the vastness, feeling the weight of empires rise and fall, and yet here it stood, still magnificent, still drawing people into wonder. Wandering further, I dove into the Grand Bazaar, a labyrinth of color and sound, spices piled high in vibrant pyramids, lanterns hanging like jewels, the air thick with apple tea and bargaining voices. At first it felt chaotic, shops calling out, but then a kind shopkeeper noticed my wide eyes. He smiled, poured me a tulip glass of strong sweet tea, no expectation to buy. We talked through broken English and gestures about his family, his grandchildren. He showed me photos on his phone and refused to let me pay. You are my guest, he said. That moment broke something open in me. The famous Turkish hospitality wasn't just a phrase, it was real, and it wrapped around me like a warm blanket. Evenings in Istanbul became magical. I took a ferry along the Bosphorus as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in pinks and oranges, palaces and mosques silhouetted against the water, seagulls following the boat, locals sharing their snacks with strangers, the wind in my hair. I sat there feeling the city breathe around me, east meeting west in perfect harmony. After a week soaking in Istanbul's energy, I flew to Cappadocia, waking at dawn, bundled in layers for the hot air balloon ride. The sky still dark, then slowly hundreds of balloons inflating, flames lighting the baskets. We lifted off, gently floating over the surreal landscape, fairy chimneys carved by time, valleys glowing in sunrise colors, pinks, golds, purples. It felt like drifting through a dream, the silence broken only by occasional bursts of flame below, tiny figures waving up at us. I was alone in my basket with the pilot, but never felt lonely. The beauty was overwhelming. Tears streamed down my face as the sun crested the horizon. This was magic, pure and untouched. Days in Cappadocia were spent hiking hidden valleys, exploring ancient cave churches, frescoes still vibrant after centuries, staying in a cozy cave hotel carved into the rock, soft lighting, warm stone walls, breakfast spreads of fresh cheeses, olives, tomatoes, honey dripping over yogurt, warm bread rings, endless tea poured with care, the owners treating me like family, sharing stories late into the night. One evening a local woman invited me to her home, showed me how to make traditional pottery pot kebab. Cooked slowly over fire, we laughed as it cracked open, revealing tender meat and vegetables, her children playing around us, language barriers melting away in shared smiles. From there I traveled to Pamukkale, the cotton castle, white travertine terraces cascading down the hillside like frozen waterfalls, thermal pools steaming in the cool air. I walked barefoot, the water warm and mineral-rich, ancient ruins scattered around, columns, theaters whispering of Roman times, swimming in the antique pool among fallen marble pieces, surrounded by history. As the sun set, turning everything golden, I floated there, feeling every worry, every fear dissolve into the water, healed in a way words can't capture. My journey continued to Ephesus, one of the best preserved ancient cities, the grand library standing proud, marble streets where philosophers once walked, the great theatre echoing with imagined crowds. I wandered alone, touching stones that witnessed the birth of ideas that shaped the world, feeling the thread of humanity connecting me to those long gone. Then to the turquoise coast Kaş, a quiet seaside town, crystal clear, water-hugging rugged mountains. I spent days swimming in hidden coves, snorkeling among colorful fish, hiking the Lycian Way, ancient trails, with sarcophagi scattered like forgotten treasures, evenings watching the sunset from cliffside cafes, sipping cold iron salty yogurt drink, locals fishing off the rocks, sharing their fresh catch grilled simply with lemon, the sea breeze carrying laughter and stories. Further along to Antalya, old town, narrow cobblestone streets, Ottoman houses overflowing with bougainvillea waterfalls tumbling from cliffs into the sea. I got lost on purpose, wandering harbor views, eating kunefe, crispy cheese soaked in syrup, warm and sweet, shared with new friends, made in minutes. Throughout the trip, as a solo woman, I was cautious, dressed modestly, loose clothes, scarf ready, used reputable transport, avoided isolated areas at night. But honestly, I felt safer than I expected. People watched over me, strangers helped with directions, protected in crowds, refused tips because I was their guest. The stares, yes, some from curiosity, but mostly warm smiles, questions about my home, shared laughter over flaky sweet baklava, moments of pure connection. One night in a small village near Cappadocia, I joined a family for dinner. They welcomed me without hesitation, spread a feast on the floor, fresh bread, dolma, yaprak sarma, stuffed grape leaves, tender lamb, yogurt sauces, salads bursting with flavor. We ate slowly, talked deeply through translation apps and hand gestures. They asked about my life, my family, showed me photos of weddings, children growing up. I cried when saying goodbye. They hugged me like a daughter, sent me off with homemade preserves and promises to visit them again. Turkey didn't just show me stunning places, it reminded me of the goodness in people, the power of openness, the beauty in differences. It shattered every stereotype, fed by headlines and fear. It healed parts of me I didn't know were broken. It filled my soul with light and hope. It taught me that the world is kinder than we are often told, that stepping out alone doesn't mean being lonely, that cultures can embrace you fully if you open your heart. If you're hesitating like I was, afraid of the unknown, wondering if solo travel is for you, listen to that pull in your heart. Go embrace the world, because out there waiting is kindness deeper than you can imagine, landscapes that steal your breath, connections that change you forever, and a culture that will welcome you home. My heart is so full, Turkey, you embraced me completely, and I will carry you with me always. Turkish.